Let me, first of all, thank those who invited us to be here for this discussion. Today's topic is very timely, as it is clear that rising global demand and competition for the key but finite resources of water, energy, and food cannot be ignored. It is estimated that by 2030, the world will need 40% more fresh water and 50% more food and energy. This increase is partly due to expanding population, increasing urbanization, and prosperity. In light of this, the world has to figure out how to optimize such vital resources, as we also search for new ones. More specifically, we need to address the issue of food security. The actions that we take now will determine our ability to feed the 9 billion people we are expecting by the year 2050. According to the UN's Food and Agriculture Organization, the world's farmers actually produce enough food. In fact, they produce more than is required and twice the minimum nutritional needs. Yet, in spite of sufficient food production, there are still many food insecure areas. The World Food Programme identifies more than 1 billion people worldwide as undernourished, most of them in Africa, 34%, and Asia, 23%. This indicates that the question of food security is not about shortage per se, but rather other issues such as distribution, markets, management, and use of potential and available resources. In addition, developing countries face the challenges of smallholder farming, lack of technology and inputs, globalization, access to markets, and undeveloped infrastructure. Distinguished audience, to remedy this situation and put food where it is most needed, the right mechanisms and investments are required. As example of this, in an integrated approach to agriculture involving water and land management, use of fertilizers, crop development, planned rural settlements, and reform of land tenure. Facilitating elements of this approach include the development of financial services and technical training, as well as increased access to markets. As mentioned earlier, smallholder farming remains a challenge, and the key medium-term solution is to maximize use of available land through consolidation, crop intensification, and increased use of fertilizers and irrigation. Just as important is adaptation of green growth and climate resilience strategy, as we have done in Rwanda in key resource sectors of agriculture, energy, and mining. In the long term, however, the most viable option is to keep moving towards commercial agriculture by instituting land policies that enable consolidation, secure ownership, and transferability and access to credit. We can make more land available for agriculture and also raise citizens' incomes through skills development and creating off-farm employment. In Rwanda, what we have tried has been to introduce few years ago 9-year compulsory basic education, now extended to 12, and expansion of technical and vocational training, all this aimed at precisely achieving this. It is also important that we look at the expanding population as a potential resource in itself, and not always a liability. They can be part of the solution if we ensure correct policies and productivity that should increase as the population does increase. People should be empowered to find ways to increase resource efficiency, reduce waste, and manage demand effectively. Education, technology, and better management, as well as research, play critical role in developing innovative ways to use our resources sustainably. Not every country can produce all the food it needs, and it may not even be the most effective, the most cost-effective way of meeting food needs. This calls for specialization in production and to create sustainable benefits and growth nationally and across the world. We must continue to make global market linkages and address other barriers like subsidies and stringent quality standards, whose main effect seems to be exclusion of products from certain places. Agriculture will only become more productive and profitable when investments are made in terms of technology, research and development, processing and marketing, and for this to happen, international cooperation is very vital. Equally crucial will be the increased involvement of the private sector in agricultural production at all stages of the food chain. A favorable business climate has made investment in Africa increasingly attractive. The World Bank reports, for instance, that 8 out of 20 of the most rapidly growing economies in the world in 2011 were in Africa, achieving between 8 to 12% growth per annum. In Rwanda, we have had sustained growth of between 7 to 8% per annum over the last 10 years. It makes sense for financial and business interests from across the world to invest in Africa. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, given the 1 billion people who suffer from malnutrition and the 9 million people who die each year from hunger, we must place issues of agriculture and food security high on the international policy agenda, national development plans, and investment priorities. We need to take bold steps, mobilize resources and goodwill, and treat food insecurity as a threat to human existence in the same way we have tackled and reduced many other problems of our time. With this, I wish to thank you for your very kind attention.